So Garry and I chatted for a good hour and stuff. He was giving me the gossip and what was going, on down there. He was still with Tamara. I didn't really say anything about it. Garry knew that I didn't really like it very much, but I wasn't going to say anything to upset him or hurt his feelings. That just wasn't my place to do that. I didn't like her. I just, yeah, wow, had like a shaking dog in the back of the car. And Garry was happy. I asked him how he was. I said, how are you feeling? He said, Call him content, I'm happy. Garry had his own dive shop now, a little bit further down. He's still partners with David and Dick on the Manta 4. He said the Manta 4 was absolutely flying. He said everybody missed me. Everybody that knew me kind of missed me. Chris Alnett was asking about me. Paul from Tarzan's have been asking about me. Ollie, the dive master, Richie, Dick told Garry that he'd called me and he had told Garry to give me a ring. So everything was flying. They'd had a couple of storms, not big ones, but a few days rain. The roads had got all fucked up again, being sand, big potholes, and so they had to get the grader out. It was basically a bulldozer, just with a big blade on it, and it smoothed the road up and down and filled all the holes in. And every time it rained, it was like that. You'd have these massive swimming pools in the fucking road, and you'd be scared of stepping into one. Dave stepped into one day, went up to his waist. He fucking near disappeared. It was hilarious. All I could do was stand there and fucking laugh. He fucking disappeared. It was like Charlie Chaplin going into a hole, and he'd come up all wet and stuff, and it was fucking hilarious. Oh, I was pissing myself, and Dave was all angry. So it was brilliant. But Gaz gave me the rundown on what was going on, and I said, "How's your dive shop going?" There was two young guys. There was Andy, two Islanders, two little black guys, and Elijah. Elijah was okay. I wasn't fucking too fond of Andy. He was a cheeky little bastard. But Dave liked him, and Garry, and they were Garry's boat driver and dive masters. So I liked Elijah, but I fucking wasn't too fond of Andy. Andy Placencia, I think his name was, or something like that. Placido or something like that. Anyway, whatever. But he turned out to be a singer a few years down the line. But it was all going well. Gaz had mentioned he might come up with Dick and Dave. Was that okay? I said, absolutely fucking not. And Garry was like, what? I said, of course, mate. You know what I mean? I said, yeah, it'd be great to have everybody up, And so Garry said he would try to make that time. I told him that we were going to Bermuda in the morning. Gaz had told me he'd been there, he'd worked there. He gave me the name of the dive shop. Escapes me now. This is 30 odd years ago. Lovely. He said to call in to see the people and pass his regards on. I made a note of it at the time. I made a mental note to also do that. And he said it was absolutely brilliant. He lived there for 2 years. And he says the diving was absolutely beautiful. It reminded him very much of the Caribbean. It was very British. It reminded him very much of the Caribbean. And it was absolutely a beautiful place. He said, you're going to have a cracking time. I said we'd be down there for 2 or 3 days, depending on the gear being delivered and money collected and gear being ordered. And that was it. We chatted a bit more, and Gaz was asking about the flying. What was it like, and was it hard? And I says, no, surprisingly, it's not hard. I says, it's a bit nerve-wracking. I says, when you're flying in something, and I says, and then all of a sudden I said, Andy pulls the plane back and it stalls. You hear the stall warning, the beeping, and it's stall, and I says, and that type of stuff. And I says, and turning your engines off, up in the air, and then turning them back on again. I says, it's a fucking, I said, it was a bit nerving. I says, doing banking, right and left and turning. I said, all that type of stuff. And I says, the learning, I says, was monotonously boring because there was a lot of it. The full forces of flight, and this and the 6 fucking whatever it was of flight, and all this type of stuff. And I said it was a bit mind-numbing for me because I'm not a book person. But I did tell him that the guy Jeff had given me a simulator with some old VHS videos and stuff that on a VH recorder and stuff. And I said that was helping quite a bit. I says, but that I hadn't really done much since Tom died. I says, because kind of worried about Andy and all this type of stuff. And then he said to me, he said, little bird was telling me, he goes, Fiona's going up to see you. And I said, yeah. He says, yeah, Dave was saying. And I didn't realise until a bit later on that Fiona had dated Garry. And for 6 or 7 months or something like this. And I was like, right, you know. So he was giving me trying to give me a little bit of a ribbon about that, to say that he had been there before me, you know. And so I didn't really say anything about that. She didn't mention it. I didn't know. So I just kind of kept that in the back of my mind. And anyway, that was it. We chatted for another few minutes and we signed off. And I had resigned myself to basically just taking a nap. I was getting tired and stuff. I don't think I worked out that day. I was just a bit tired, and more hungry than anything. And the whole few weeks of Tom passing, you know, was quite a heavy thing. You know, dealing with Andy and, you know, having him snap at me a few times and then trying to like hold my temper and not go off at him and retaliate. You know, trying to put myself in his shoes and understanding and this type of stuff. So it kind of wore me down a wee bit. And then, as I say, living in the house on my own practically and not really having company, fucking took it out of me as well, to be honest, because I'm a very social person. I like to speak to people and I like to be around people. So that was it really. Told Garry I was going to the shooting range. He had told me that he'd went to the range, or that when he went to Vegas, he'd been to Vegas for 6 months. He dated some girl up there, and he said he was out in the desert fire and everything. So, you know, it's not that he liked guns, it was just on a bucket list that he wanted to do, and that was it. He wasn't diving so much. He had another instructor, a guy called Thomas. I can't remember his second name. Thomas, I'd met him before. He's a very arrogant, skinny guy, and Garry had him working as an instructor. Garry would do classroom work, Thomas would take the guys out to do the water skills, and Tamara basically was the manager of the dive centre. So Garry concentrated more on the out-island dives on the boat, because he would put clients on the boat, make money from that. Picnics, snorkeling trips are big, especially down to Shark Ray Alley and also to Ho Chan. So, and jet skis and the party catamarans, stuff like that. So Garry was making cash and he was happy enough. So we signed off. Told Gareth, I says, look mate, you know, definitely if you can come up, looking forward to seeing you again. You know, try and come up with Dave, and I said, plenty of room at the house. I said, you three guys will fucking fit on the sofa nicely. Be able to spoon each other and fucking cuddle in at night and stroke each other's egos or whatever else you want to stroke. Garry had a fit laughing and signed off, and yeah, so it was good to hear from Garry. It was actually quite a surprise. So had a shower. Always had a shower before I lay down. Had a shower, went into the room. Began to rain slightly, which was good. It was just that time of the year. It was now September, and it was just raining slightly, which was nice, because I love the rain hitting on the deck and hitting on the window. It's very soothing. And lay down, cuddled up to little kitty, and before I knew it, went out like a light, and the phone rang again, and it was dark by this time, pitch black. The phone rang. I picked up the phone, and it was Fiona. And she says, "Oh, you know, I'm sorry to ring you so late. You know, she was obviously in Chanchich, and I did tell her she could ring any time. I was like, no, that's all right." And she's, "How are you? What's happening?" Told her I'd just been to Key Largo. She asked me what it was like, and I told her, yeah. I says, "Look, when you come up," I says, "we'll drive down. It's only 2 hours away." She's like, "Oh, you know, that's fantastic." You know, I says, "Yeah, you know, we'll drive down." I says, "Well, you know, we'll spend the day down in the Keys and, you know, go swimming or snorkeling or, you know, whatever you want. There was horseback riding down there, and she loved horseback riding. So I says, "Yeah, we'll plan a few things and, you know, we'll go down and stuff." And then she says, "I hear "Hey, Gary Cooper phoned you today?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "He phoned me earlier on." I said, "Why?" And she says, "Oh, I was talking to Sue." She says, "And he was telling Dave that he rang you." And I said, "Yeah." And she says, "Did he say anything about me?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "He did." I said, "He says that he dated you for about 6 months." And she kind of went deathly quiet. And there was a big dramatic pause.